Welcome to HCS Talks. I'm your host, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools, Raymond Haynes. This is a Hampton City Schools podcast. HCS Talks is designed to educate, inform, and hopefully entertain our community and beyond. We will talk a lot about different topics related to education, students, teachers, support staff, parents, programs and initiatives, community partnerships, and more. Some of it will just be informative no matter who you are. So we hope you will stay tuned and keep listening to HCS Talks. Today I have the opportunity to sit down with Gary Skeen, who is Hampton City Schools Virtual Partnership Specialist in the Department of Innovation and Digital Learning. So thank you for being here, Mr. Skeen. I'm looking forward to our conversation about Hampton City Schools Instructional Resource Toolkit and the HCS Enterprise. So let's talk about a little bit about the HCS Enterprise, which is a very unique initiative for a public school division. I know you've joined the Hampton City Schools team shortly after the Enterprise got underway, but can you tell us about the history behind it and its purpose in our school division?
Yes, absolutely. First, thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to be here. So with the Enterprise program, we talk a lot in Hampton City Schools about taking a systems-based approach to teaching and learning because our core business is teaching and learning. So we've created a system that other schools divisions wanted to kind of emulate. They really saw, we are fully accredited 100% without conditions, but, if you look back, historically, that wasn't necessarily always the case, which is when we took that really hard look at ourselves to make those systems and really make that approach so that we can give our teachers their time back so they've got the resources they need to teach our students. It became so popular that other school divisions really started to look at Hampton as a model. And we thought, they were like, we would love to have that be part of that system. How do we get to be part of that? So we really created a program that they could purchase an annual subscription to have those other tools in our toolkit so that they could have that in their toolkit as well. So that could further along what they were doing and also give their teachers their Sundays back so that, Hampton City Schools has really become that kind of beacon that people really want to look at and model. And it's just another way that we can enhance not only what's going on throughout the state, but also, really enhance what's going on with our robust curriculum within Hampton City Schools.
Oh, I concur. When we came out with 100% of our schools being fully accredited without conditions and did it consecutively, you had to make certain that we had structures and systems in place that will ensure our academic success on a regular basis. And you mentioned giving teachers their Sundays back. Tell the audience what you mean by that.
So with our instructional resource toolkit, that's really based off of our curriculum instruction and assessment site that we have. So all of our resources are housed within the CIA HQ, as we affectionately call it here in Hampton. All of our teachers' plans and resources are really laid out for them in our guaranteed and viable curriculum. So their plans are really done for them. It's really about them being able to go into those resources and learn what those are, look at those resources, really practice those so that they're ready to be implemented within their students, but they're not having to search all over and go to other sites like Teacher to Pay Teacher or find their own curriculum.
And spending their entire weekends doing so.
Correct. So it's all right there for them in a one-stop shop so that everything is there, everything's lined up, everything's aligned to Virginia standards, and really their job becomes not finding things to teach their students, but it really lets them focus on building relationships with students and making sure that their classroom is really about teaching and learning every day.
Wow, that is great information, but I would be remiss if I didn't go back and let you share with the listening audience about some things about yourself, your background, from whence you came, and how did you come about choosing Hampton City Schools as your place of employment?
Well, that is a great question. Thank you so much for asking. You can obviously tell I'm not really from Southeast Virginia. I did grow up on the other side of the state, from Southwest Virginia and the coal fields. Came from a very small community, really a community-focused, everybody kind of knows everybody kind of atmosphere.
Yes.
I moved here. I have some friends and connections that I had from college that made me move to this area. Taught for another school division that was local, a little bit larger than Hampton City Schools. Didn't have that same kind of that family quality.
Right.
coming to Hampton, everyone is so supportive, and it really is a family approach to education. And you really can tell that this community really does care about not only the students that are within the school system, but everyone in the community. So, really kind of makes me feel like I'm a little bit more at home, and so that's really why I choose Hampton, and I will continue to choose Hampton.
Well, we're glad you chose Hampton, and what you said just speaks volumes to our mantra of one community, one transformation. And it's interesting, Mr. Skeen, folks who sometimes make that unfortunate decision to leave Hampton and then the fortunate decision to return. That's one of the things they talk about. I miss that family feel, that family connection, that camaraderie that the school division has. So we certainly appreciate your choosing Hampton and choosing to stay as well.
Absolutely.
So over the last several years, we know that the enterprise has grown, not only in the number of school divisions we're working with, but with the products or services available to our partner divisions. So what does this menu currently look like for you, for
Right.
us?
Absolutely. So when we started the program, school divisions were able to purchase our core content curriculum, so ELA, math, science, social studies, from grades K-12. We've now expanded. One of our most popular items is really our Success One-on-One curriculum, which is that freshman seminar course that all of our students take so that they're career and life ready, really at the beginning of college. I mean, really at the beginning of high school.
Yes.
So there are a lot of divisions that have really looked at that. We've added on this year our SEL toolkit. That's part of our program as well. We've got an expansion pack that's for our elective courses and CTE courses. Really, the great part about this program is that it's not just a box curriculum. You really get to come in as a school division and tailor what your needs are, where you feel like you need some strengths and support, and we get to help you with that. And that's really where my role comes in, is I get to meet with them and we talk about what their needs are and we make that happen.
So far from your experiences in overseeing this, what are school divisions selecting? Are they selecting the entire package, or are they picking and choosing? Because that social emotional learning component, I think, is critical to all aspects of this work. So just curious as to what, in fact, school divisions are actually selecting.
Yeah, and it really is dependent upon the size of the school division, really where they're at in their development of a curriculum. And we have a lot that will purchase everything because they really see that system that we've made here in Hampton, and they want to make that their own as well. We have some that only want the elementary portions,
Right.
so they can make things more robust. We have some that only want to use that Success One-on-One curriculum, and that's completely fine. We also offer data analytic services as well, because really all of our resources and our instruction is based on what our data is telling us, where we're at with our data. So really that driving force, we've also become kind of that beacon of light that people really look to as well. There are divisions that will purchase our data analytic package too. So it varies based on
Right.
the school division.
Nice. So it's interesting because you mentioned the Success 101 a couple of times. We know we have that Success 101 course because of it lays the foundation for your academy selection. So just curious as to, I guess, what the other divisions are using that Success 101 for.
Yeah, right. So there are some that have come to we have site visits here with our academy system. There's
Yes.
a lot of school divisions really want to implement what we've done with our wall-to-wall academies in their systems as well. Well, that's a great way for them to really kind of start to look where that focus
Right.
could be, is looking at that Success One-on-One curriculum. And then even if they don't want to do a wall-to-wall academy system, um, we already embed that CTE, that CCCRI credit,
Right.
where they have a service learning component in that course. So that freshman year course, that's already taken care of, and that's one of those components for accreditation.
Oh, that is a great advantage if they get that service learning aspect
Right.
completed with the College Career and Civic Readiness Index. So that I could see why oftentimes they will opt to have that piece as well. So, Mr. Skeen, if I were in a leadership position in another school division, how would you pitch this to me, and what products and or services would my school division be able to purchase?
Well, first, I really want to make it clear that we're really here to help. We're not selling you a box system. This is
Right.
really what are your needs? Where do you need support as a school division? Where do you see being able to get some additional resources so that your teachers get that time back? They really get to have some of that time where they're only focusing on really building relationships, especially post pandemic. Now is the time that we really have to really build those relationships like we've never built before. So anything that we can do as a division or at a leadership level that we can give those teachers that time to do that, is really what's going to be beneficial for our students. So really the other aspect that you get with that too is not only as the resources, but you get me as your daily. I'm here for you. I won't say 24 hours a day, but I'm here for you with anything that you may need, which is much different than if you were to purchase a curriculum. You're going to get that really hometown feel and that support
So they
from me
get you
too.
as a resource only, not you as
Oh, like, no, I'm not going to be. Yes, a resource only. I'm here as a great liaison to the resources that we have here in Hampton City Schools. That is correct.
so. Oftentimes, I would imagine with the enterprise, it is a matter of, I guess, the pitch aspect, but also a lot of it sells itself through word of mouth and other school divisions communicating, hey, this is a great product. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when we started the program, we had 4 school divisions that were part of our process. That's now we're up to 18 across Virginia. We actually just signed another one that's outside of state too, so we're up to 19, and it's really word of mouth. The new out of state division that's really signed on with us has some components in Virginia, has some counterparts that they've talked to and shown the system, and it really, as they see what we have in a site, school divisions are just blown away by just the ease of how we can navigate what the resources look like, and it
Right.
really so that it's not something that they have to necessarily worry about or unpack themselves. So we've done that work for them.
And the beauty of it all is, like we mentioned, I think a couple of times so far in the podcast, we're able to show the results. We're showing that this product actually does work, as evidenced by our schools being 100% accredited without conditions, over 95% on-time graduation rate, and a less than 1% dropout rate. So our former superintendent would always say the proof is not in the pudding. The proof is in the taste of the pudding. So we know this product tastes really good.
It is true, and when you speak to other divisions, you can say, obviously this is something that works because this is the system that we use.
Absolutely. So I know that our division has served as a leader across the state in database decision making, whether it's using student achievement data to make adjustments to curriculum or creating a process for analyzing quarterly student assessments to determine which schools are in need of additional support. So talk a little bit more in depth about the data packages available to school divisions, as this seems to be one of the more popular packages we offer.
Right. So, and that's a great thing that we have with our data department here as well, is that they're able to go in. Divisions can also opt to purchase our assessments as well. Those are the secure assessments that we have, our CSA's critical skills assessments, and then our data team, we can either teach you how, as a division, how to analyze that data, or we can do it for you. So that takes something off of your plate as well. This is something that's especially popular with smaller divisions that may not have the resources to hire someone full time that just only does data and really is able to really disseminate it in a way that's meaningful, that can make those educational decisions as they move forward. It's one thing to be able to see the data, but to be able to make it into a something that's serviceable for everyone in the division to really make those decisions is something that's very powerful. So we can take that off your plate, or we can teach you how to do that as well. We offer both of those services, and that's what really people are opting into, especially some of our smaller divisions, because you really know, and the conversations that we have is that we know well before we get into SOL season and that end of course testing where we're going to land with most of our schools. And it allows us to really leverage those resources, to give those schools more support and give those teachers more support that may need it as we're getting into the end of the year. And that's something that really is very powerful as we speak to other divisions, because we know exactly where we need to go.
Absolutely. So have you gotten any testimonials about the enterprise and the instructional resource toolkits and how school divisions have seen a tremendous positive impact in terms of student outcome measures?
So we have a lot of our school divisions will say this has been something that's given their leadership team and their schools the ability to go in and just be able to know what teaching and learning is supposed to look like. It really kind of levels the playing field as far as to what lesson plans are going to look like. A lot of school divisions will take that lesson planning piece off the table because they can see exactly where they're going to be at. So teachers really love it because they're able to go in and just really practice what the teaching's supposed to look like and not have to piece so much together on their own. So those are the big pieces, and it's a big testament because we've not had customers that have not returned. Everyone that stays with us really has stayed with us.
Right. So that's a testimony in and of itself. We have not had anybody fall off, and folks continue to benefit from what we have to offer in terms of services and support. So one of the unique features about this initiative, which I don't believe a lot of people realize, is that many of the individuals who are responsible for creating and leading some of the work in our school division around teaching and learning are also the ones benefiting from the success of this work. And it has turned into a retention strategy for us. So please share with the listening audience how this works.
So, as we kind of talked about, other divisions and other educational programs really are able to purchase into an annual subscription. We now offer 3 and 5 year subscriptions as well, so a little bit more long term. But that money is invested straight back into our product. And when I say our product, I really mean all of our curriculum instruction and assessment resources that we have. So we're able to pay people to write curriculum, to really review curriculum, to really put those things together. So that's additional funding that we're able to pay our people here in Hampton that are providing this service to create things. But on the flip side of that, and what's really important to really kind of notice is that not only is it a retention strategy for our staff, but the more we invest in our own product and our own curriculum, the more that benefits our students here in Hampton as well too. So we're not only able to incentivize our people to really want to cultivate something that's a strong product, but we're able to serve our students as well.
And it helps us to stay on top of best practices and make the necessary tweaks as needed as we go along with the resources that we provide to young people too.
Absolutely.
So I've heard recently that there now appears to be some national interests in our curriculum, just a little bit. Something many of our listeners might not know is that the majority of the curricula across the country is based on what we know as Common Core standards. Years ago in Virginia, leadership at the state level decided to write our own standards versus adopting the Common Core standards. But again, most students throughout the country are engaging with the Common Core standards. So talk about the possible opportunity for our curriculum or the process we use to create and house our curriculum to be introduced on the national stage.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So as we kind of talked, we've got Common Core standards that are used in 46 states across the country. Virginia opted to not go with those Common Core standards because Virginia felt like their standards in-house with those standards of learning were as robust or more robust than what the Common Core would be. There are lots of similarities. There are some differences. So we are working with a team that's out of Pennsylvania now that was very interested in our resources to kind of crosswalk and match up where those Virginia standards would lie to where Common Core standards would lie. Having those standards in a crosswalk, that should be completed by the end of this academic year. So having that ability, once we have that crosswalk that's complete, we're able to utilize those resources not only in Virginia for our divisions in Virginia that are looking for additional support, but now any state that would be using Common Core and would be a Common Core state would be able to also use our system and our resources as well.
Nice. It's exciting to think about this actually being more on a national stage for us and the abilities that we have to help folks even outside the state of Virginia, I think is nothing short of remarkable.
Oh, and I really, it's a testament to what's going on here in Hampton City Schools. We really do reach every child every day, no matter what it takes, and really to take that story and what we've done with our systems to show that to others is really changing the game across the country. So it's really great to be that shining light that everybody's really looking to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With several years, Mr. Skeen, now under your belt and working with and leading this arm of our organization, what have been some lessons learned?
Well, it has been a few years. I won't know that I wouldn't say that it's been several years, but it's been some. Really what I've learned is that no matter what you're talking, whether that be, in partnerships with other individuals, with other divisions, within our own division, it's really about treating people as people, really cultivating those relationships and just being honest. And really making sure that you're backing up what you're saying. So, our system really speaks for itself because we back it up. And just really, people really need support, and really making sure that you're providing the support that you need for whoever that person might be.
Right. So, Mr. Skeen, where do you see this enterprise in 3 to 5 years or even 15 years from today?
Well, 15 years. No, I will not be retired. So it's still going to be going great and strong. I only see this program really growing, especially because of the support that we pour into that from right here in Hampton City Schools as well. But, just a continued growth, which is only going to cultivate more success for Hampton City Schools. My goal is to make Hampton really, again, that shining light that everyone in the nation is really looking at for what we're doing in that core business of teaching and learning.
Do you think the enterprise will create opportunities where we're able to fund more permanent positions?
So that's the goal, is to have a team that's working directly. It's not really just with me, but it's really having more of those positions for the data analytics, more positions with curriculum and instruction, so that we really are building more systems that are going to be beneficial for those students that are right here in Hampton as well.
Okay. As we wrap up, is there anything, Mr. Skeen, you'd like to share with the listening audience regarding the Instructional Resource Toolkit or the enterprise that I didn't ask about?
So I think what's really important, especially if you're listening as an audience member that may not be in Hampton, because I know that this podcast is listened to throughout the world. If you're a division that really is interested in becoming part of this toolkit program, really reach out, go to our website. You're able to contact me through that website, and really we are happy to look through and get those resources that you may need in your division. But really look at that story of Hampton City Schools, because this is how we've turned things around, is really with our core business of teaching and learning.
Very nicely said. So anything else you'd like to share with the listening audience, unrelated to enterprise? Anything you'd like to share about yourself? Any of your experiences that you'd like to share since you've been with Hampton City Schools?
I feel like what Dr. Haynes is really referring to is this one time that I worked in Hampton City Schools. I might have gotten stuck in an elevator. It wasn't necessarily my fault, but I will say it was a very maybe meditative time where I could I had a moment just to think and clear my mind as the fire department used the jaws of life to open the door to evacuate me from said stuck elevator that was in between floors. So I think that is what he might be referring to, and he is laughing. It was not a traumatic experience as most people think. But yes, I did get stuck in an elevator once. It's a great story. There are pictures, if those out there listening ever want to see.
Are there pictures? I was not going to say anything about the pictures, but are there pictures?
Of course there's pictures, because people have to see how funny I look as I'm crawling out over top of firemen. So we'll show you those if you've not seen them. My face looks like I'm not scared in the slightest. I was just scared because he was like, step on me, and I had to jump out on him. But yes, I had to be evacuated.
Wait a minute. He said step on him.
Yeah, because I was in between floors. So it wasn't like I could just scoot out. I had to step on the guy's shoulder as I was getting out. So as the team had to extract me from said elevator. It was great. It's a wonderful time.
You told me you had some time to yourself to meditate.
It's very peaceful.
It was a very peaceful time
35 minutes. 35 minutes of peace and quiet. It's wonderful. Except for the sound of the jaws of life opening the door.
35 minutes for you to think about how you could further enhance the enterprise or the instructional resource.
I got to think really, how can I help more people, and what are some other things that, what other resources do I need to get out there? And then the doors opened, and that was the end.
Well, for the listening audience, Mr. Skeen really tells a good story about his experience in that elevator. You really have to see him in person, coupled with the pictures, and it makes for a very great story.
Feel free to stop on by anytime. I'm happy to have even if you're looking for resources, if you're out there in the listening public and you're not in Hampton City Schools, just call me and get that story, because it'll be worth it, regardless of whether you get resources or not.
Now, sometimes, and I'm going to close it out, but sometimes I come by your office and I see you're on Zoom, you're singing and dancing. What is that about?
Well, so I do also teach virtually, because we do have a virtual program that's here as well. So I was a music teacher. I didn't mention that before.
No, you've never told me that.
No, I was totally a music teacher. So yes, as part of some of our virtual programs that we have here in Hampton City Schools, I teach music. I really want to get into it with the kids, and I'm in those in the classes with the kids as well, supporting them in the virtual setting as well too. So there's lots of innovative things that happen here in Hampton City Schools. We really are on the forefront. You've obviously never stopped by when I've been playing the recorder, but that can be next time. I'll do it for you next time.
You have a lot of talent, sir. I'm quite impressed. Well, thank you again, Mr. Skeen, for joining me today and for sharing our instructional resource toolkits and enterprise with our listening audience. It has been a fascinating and enjoyable conversation. And to our listeners, remember, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As one community, one transformation, we will ensure academic excellence for every child, every day, whatever it takes. Looking forward to next week.
Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools. New episodes of HCS Talks drop on Thursdays. Subscribe and listen to HCS Talks. HCS Talks is a Hampton City Schools production.